The Fages Crespi expedition of 1772 is an important chapter in the exploration and settlement of Alta California. This first exploration of what is now Contra Costa County was led by Don Pedro Fages. Father Crespi, a member of the Franciscan order, kept a diary of the expedition.
The rest of the exploring party consisted of 14 leather-jacketed soldiers, a muleteer, and a Christian Indian servant. They traveled up the eastern Santa Clara Valley along the shore of the East Bay and continued past San Pablo Bay, down Carquinez Strait to Sassoon Bay. Along the way, they encountered many native villages, some of which they described in their diaries. This exploration went so far as modern Bay Point before turning back. As Professor Alan Brown wrote, "For the natives of the land, this contact was an immeasurably strange experience." The next day, their journey from the vicinity of Crockett likely headed inland rather than along the bluffs of the strait. Their exact route is not known, but they probably entered Diablo Valley somewhere near Highway 4. Quoting again from Father Crespi's journal, "We set out from the camp at about 6:30 and took up an northeasterly course through the midst of some very grassy hills. When the group arrived in Diablo Valley, they stopped, and Father Crespi wrote in his journal, quote, 'On coming into the valley here, we changed course to due northeastward and had the heathens who had been shouting to us a little more than a musket shot distant. They had driven a bow into the ground with arrows and an animal skin with featherwork. After this meeting, we proceeded on northeastward across the valley to go up through a gap in the range.'" Captain Fages also kept a journal where he describes their travel through Diablo Valley. Quote, "At a league's distance from ourselves, in the middle of a level, we saw their village, a very large one, exceedingly populous with heathens. We continued on our route, and on going a short way commenced climbing a high gap, from which we could make out the course of the waters over a great distance. On coming down from this gap, we hit upon a large plain, seeing upon it a great many antelope, deer, geese, cranes, and no few tracks of the buffalo or mule deer, and another trace like a mule's. We stopped in a cove made by some middling hills, at which there was a small stream of not very good water, and were sent out to explore. 3 went east and north toward the delta. New research published in 2011 describes the journey of these 3 scouts eastward to a large Indian village between Pittsburgh and Antioch. 3 scouts were sent from the camp in a south-southwesterly direction to find a more direct route for their return trip to Monterey. The 3 soldiers came back the same night and said it had seemed to them that there was a way through to the southwest of us, and if desired, we could well return that way. What did the 1772 Crespi-Fages journey to Contra Costa mean to the Spanish Empire? Crespi provided his field diary to Father Serra, who added his own commentary in a report that he sent to the Spanish Viceroy in Mexico City. It was eventually forwarded to King Carlos III of Spain. As Alan K. Brown wrote several years ago, Serra's report of a great river named San Francisco was the lever which moved that empire at its top. Knowledge of the full extent of the San Francisco Bay Area moved the king to authorize an immediate settlement of San Francisco.
For Native Americans and California, this was a moment in history.